Marlene?
Anything interesting in the newspaper? Bruno wants to check out that previously owned auto show at the fairgrounds this weekend. Me and Valentine, oh, you remember my neighbor, Val Louise, the one I told you about? Oh, we're not supposed to use full names in here, are we? Well, anyway, we're going to go to the Crooked Books book sale this weekend. It's that thing the library does where patrons who have kept their library books for over a year can donate them back.
Marlene.
Which I think is a great thing for literacy and all, but I wonder if it sends the right message to young people about responsibility.
Marlene.
Bruno thinks it's interesting that it's held at St. Jude's. St. Jude's being the patron saint of lost causes and all.
There was an interesting item in the newspaper today. It seems like someone is doing some disturbing things to the local parish priests.
No.
They're siphoning their gas. They're pasting their faces on the bodies of clowns and male strippers and former Nazis. And they're painting these big red lines with red paint around parish priests' residences and churches. And they paint in these angry red letters, "No Child Zone."
Imagine that.
Would you like to talk about it?
Oh, sure. And I also noticed in the political section they're thinking about proposing a tax increase on Chinese beer and... Why are you looking at me like that?
Marlene, we've been talking for the last few sessions about how upset you are about these stories about priests and their sexual abuse of kids, both here and overseas. In fact, you said at one point how amusing it would be if parishioners started abusing their priests.
Well, it would, wouldn't it?
Look, my role is not to be a detective, but I have to tell you, I'm concerned about what I read in the paper.
Look, Michael, I don't like where you're going with this.
Would you like to talk about that?
Don't say that. Please. I hate it when you say that. And I don't like being accused of something I may not be guilty of.
So you think I'm accusing you? Do you remember when we talked about stealing drugs from Rite Aid?
Well, they were just over-the-counter drugs, and what do drugs have to do with child-abusing degenerate priest anyway?
They were only over-the-counter drugs, that's right, but that wasn't the point, was it? We had disagreed about whether it was ethical or moral to steal drugs at all from drugstores.
I think it had more to do with Bruno's sinuses and Obamacare than any ethical, illegal, or philosophical reason, Michael. Oh, Jesus. I believe we were discussing Bruno's sinuses.
Look, Marlene, all I'm saying is that for the last few sessions, for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, you've been talking about how upset you are at these stories of sexual abuse and how you cannot imagine how emotionally scarred these kids, now adults, are.
So?
Do you remember what you said they deserved?
Something to do with chastity.
That's right, something to do with chastity, and then you mentioned something about an extended warranty.
Extended warranty?
Yeah, an extended warranty where it was guaranteed that the offending member would never be extended. Remember that? You also called yourself a guardian sister? Wait a second. You'd be like their guardian sister or nun who would guarantee there would be no more of that. You said you'd be like the Nun of That.
Imagine that.